our last few days of Cancer season. Lionsgate portal is officially open, and much, much more, my friend. This is your Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of August 14th through the 20th. My friend, we are talking all about what is happening in our sky, plus where our moon is going to be this week. All right, my friend, let's dive in. If you are new here, how you doing? Danny Simonis, your spiritual healer, helping you heal your past, your present, and your future so that we can strip away, release, say goodbye to those generational, societal, ancestral paradigms, belief systems, ways of being that no longer serve you and your soul. Because, my friend, if I know anything, you have a mission, and I am here to be your guide. Be your. All right, so be sure to click that subscribe button if you have not already, as we have weekly sidereal astrology forecasts coming out. Plus, we've got videos during our seasons about different crystals, essential oils, favorite things that I'm loving and doing, and anything around spirituality and personal growth. This is your place. So be sure to subscribe. I do have a special announcement that I will be doing at the very end. But let me just tell you, my friend, my brand new program, Cosmic Alchemy, is officially open for enrollment. And I can't tell you how excited I am to officially be announcing this, to officially be putting it out there, because it has been a journey. So let's go ahead and get started, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about it at the end. All right, my friends, so I'm gonna go ahead and share our screen so we can see our chart for this week. Here we go. We begin our week, August 14th. We always want to identify where our sun is. And so our sun is in Cancer, as you can see. He, she, it. I'm going to go with it. It is more of a masculine energy, but there is some feminine energy in there. So it's kind of hard to say masculine or feminine when it comes to the sun. It's a combo of both, just like us humans. So we've got our sun at 27 degrees Cancer. And so it's right at the very, very, very end of Cancer season, which means our new moon, yes, so we have a new moon this week, is in Sidereal Cancer. We do have our second, if you remember, we had our Gemini, right? New moon, which was at the very end of Gemini season before we popped into Cancer season. And now we're in Cancer season ending with our new moon in Cancer as we move into Leo. So even though I'm talking about I will talk about our new moon in Cancer, we are about to enter Leo season. So we've got her, him, it here at 27 degrees. And so there isn't really too many things that are going on this week. We have this sun square Cancer, which sun square Uranus, which I did talk about last week in last week's video. So you can check that out there. But there is a little bit of uncertainty, unexpectedness kind of happening where it's like, what the heck? And so we are seeing a little bit more of this through part of this week, not the full week, but we are pretty much seeing it through most of the week. And then it will move away, we'll say goodbye, and we'll move on to something new. But for right now, we do still have that energy, as well as the conjunction of the sun and Venus. So in fact, August 13th, we had the full conjunction, which means they're at the same degree in the same sign. And that conjunction is when it was at its optimal, which was August 13th. That was a really good day for, and actually this whole kind of period, but that was like the prime day for any type of money magic, any type of calling in money, any type of workings with money or manifestation, creativity, relationships, all of that was a really good day to do that. So we do have that. We're still in that energy for just a little bit longer. So I do want to, recommend that you use this next couple of days if you can to maybe even set some intentions around what are you wanting around money? What are you desiring around relationships? And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that in a second because our new moon will be conjunct this Venus and Sun conjunction as well. So we're gonna have all of those three guys really working together. And so I'll tell you a little bit about that in a second. All right, so we have let's talk a little bit about this sun, and I mean this moon, and where our moon is. So our moon, we do begin off our week here at 7 degrees Cancer. And, in Cancer, there is a lot more emotional energy as we're, as the moon moves through Cancer. This is the connection to the moon. As a matter of fact, Cancer is the zodiac sign that the moon rules. So when the moon is here, it's like she's returned home. She is home and she's like, taking a break. And this is where she kind of like takes care of her home. It's where we'll find a connection more to our home, to our roots, to our family, to our traditions. And so when the moon moves through here, there's a bit of a call to be home, to fix up our home, to take care of our home. And so usually during the month, there's at least a couple of days where you're more compelled to stay home than normal because it's just like, I just wanted to stay home. I just want to kind of hang out here. And if you don't like your home, then now that's another story. But there is this energy of really pulling us to our home and really wanting us to kind of take care. So maybe over the weekend, since we did begin Cancer at the very, very end of a yesterday. So there could have been a little bit of a pull to to maybe wanting to do that, or maybe even wanting to stay home a bit. But that we begin here, and then Tuesday we'll still continue as she moves through, and you'll see she's getting closer and closer to that conjunction with Venus. So we'll have that next day as well, Monday, Tuesday, and then early Wednesday when we have our new moon and before she moves into Leo. So during this time, my friend, a great time, obviously, as I said, to kind of take care of your home, to kind of just be in your home, maybe fix things up, clean a little bit, just like nurture and support it, and or nurture and support the people who are in your home, maybe your family. So like this extra time of taking care of, making sure you're taking care of self and, taking care of the other people in your home or your family. The other thing here is a really good time for creativity. So if you're looking for an outlet during this time, creativity during any water moon is highly recommended because we're much more in tune with that energy. Our intuition is much more, it's heightened during this time. So pay attention to those little drops, those little nuggets that you're receiving during this time, because it can definitely help you have an idea of maybe what you're being called to. One of my clients, actually, we were talking this morning about a couple different things. And one of the things that came up was, that we did this past life healing, and it was really beautiful because now she's like, I'm really starting to, sense things more and feel things more than I ever have in the past. And it was as if these things had been calling her all these years and they were awakened during this past life healing. And now she's like, really tuning into it and feeling it and sensing it and adjusting, right? Getting used to what has always been there, but her awareness is now expanded to it. So it was really, really cool to hear her talk about that. And we can feel more of that during these particular water moons, which any of the water moons, but really during Cancer for sure. And then as we get into Wednesday, we do have as I said, our new moon is at the very, very early hours. It's about 4:38 a.m. Central Time. So adjust that to your time zone, but it will be at 29 degrees. So if you remember last month when we talked about the new moon, we talked about it being at the very end of Gemini. And when it's at the very end like that, it is as if this is an ending of something, even though we are in the new moon phase, which is the beginning, the start of something. This degree is about coming to closure, coming to an end. And when we look at what this particular new moon is doing, she's connected to Chiron. Chiron is our wounded past, right? It's our wounds from the past, and whether it's we're working on them now or whether they're coming to light, there's like these wounds that we have that we're carrying around. I often say they're the backpacks that we're carrying, the purses, the many purses that we don't realize, and so we feel this weight of all of these purses, all of these bags, that when we start to take them off, we realize like, whoo, where did that come from? What do I feel so much lighter, right? People often tell me like, I feel so much lighter after our session. I'm like, well, yeah, because we're removing things, right? We're healing things, we're moving things out. So this right here is a moving, right? We're wanting to move out of the old, wanting to bring the old to the surface so that we can release it. Now, my friend, I gotta stop my share because I gotta talk to you face to face here. If you have healed something in the past, okay, if you have healed something in the past, that doesn't mean it's done. It doesn't mean it's over. As your consciousness raises, as you raise your consciousness, maybe that's a better way to say it, you'll start to see things differently. And you're able then to approach your healing differently. And your relationship with that wound then changes. So sometimes I feel like I'm a broken record because I'm like, oh, great time to heal this thing or this aspect, or look at this is a great time for that. Like I feel like I'm a broken record. Like I should look at all my videos and take out all the times that I say that, and I bet it would be like forever long because I feel like I'm constantly saying that. And I sometimes hear people say like, I've already worked on that, or I've already done that, or my friend, there are layers upon layers upon layers upon layers. My wounds, my experiences that I've had in particular with my family, I have done work on like a lot. And I have healed layers and layers and layers to the point now that I'm really starting to look at more ancestral lineage and working on healing that energy, not so much in the day-to-day here, but more so now going back because I'm at a place where I can do that, where it doesn't sting anymore. It doesn't hurt anymore. It's not as it's not as like, it doesn't pull me off, right? My path as maybe it had in the past. Now I'm like really curious about like, ooh, well, how does this relate to this? And what is this, right? And so I'm constantly now looking at that from a different perspective. And when things come up, it's like, ooh, there's a deeper understanding here that I'm about to get. So my friend, this particular time, as I'm talking about a good time, some of these things may be coming up, some of those old wounds, it might not necessarily be a new thing, although many times it can be. It might be a new understanding of the old thing. So even though you're like, why is this coming back up? I'm sure you have heard the saying. I'm sure you've heard it. A lesson will repeat itself until it is learned. A lesson will repeat itself until it is learned. So if you are having lessons repeated and repeated and repeated, and you're like, what the heck? My friend, I'm going to invite you to take a look at that. I'm going to invite you to look for a deeper understanding of that and what that might be connected to the current situation that you're dealing with now. Okay, so let me share my back screen and we go back. Sorry, I had to get on little Preacher Danny mode for a moment. Okay. Okay, so this being endings, we've got this conjunction with Venus. So Venus is really like, she's hanging out with the moon, right? They're hanging out in the moon's home. So the sun and the moon and Venus are hanging out, and Venus is like sharing about all this stuff that she's learning because she is retrograde. Remember, she is retrograde. So she's doing so much internal reflection right now about relationships, about money, about pleasures, what brings pleasure into her life, what makes her feel pleasurable, what ignites that goddess energy within her. She is reflecting all of that. And so this new moon, along with the other stirrings that we have, is allowing us to step into that, allowing us to look at that and to create any endings that may be happening. So look for endings in relationships. And I don't necessarily mean ending the relationship, although I've seen a lot of that happening recently. I'm talking about endings in the way that you are interacting in the relationship, or endings in the way that you are being in the relationship. Finances, the way that you're working again with money, or the way that money, right? What's your relationship with money? I think my biggest shift with money was when I looked at what my relationship was. And at the time, we were enemies. We were not friends. We were fighting like there's no other. So again, this is a relationship energy, right? Your relationship with creativity. The client earlier that I talked about, right? We were talking about creativity and how creativity is more than just, doing some paintings or some watercolor, making some jewelry. It is much, much, much more than that. So those of you that don't think you're creative, my friends, you are creative. I thought that about myself before. I let that go because that is not true. I am creative, as I explained to her, in every single interaction that I have with people. I am creative in my sessions. I am creative when I'm writing things in an email or on a social media post. I'm creative in my food and the way that I put my food together. Creativity is everywhere. So maybe it's the relationship that you have with creativity. And then pleasures. What is your relationship with pleasure? Are you allowing yourself to have pleasure or pleasures? Are you in pleasure mode and maybe not so much in the security mode, right? And thinking about the future and thinking about oh, well, this is the new thing. I was listening to a podcast earlier, and they were talking about how, 2020, 2021, the industries, the way that people were working with money and understanding money was completely different for different reasons and different people, right? In particular, a lot of online coaches, direct sales businesses kind of skyrocketed quite a bit because people were looking for things to do, right? Because we're all in our homes, we're looking for things to do. And so those industries skyrocketed. And so their incomes became, pretty big and pretty high, and they increased quite a bit. And so their lifestyle increased. And now, a few years later, that shifted because people are no longer in the same behaviors that we were a few years ago. And so incomes have fallen, but lifestyle is still the same. Cost of that lifestyle is still the same. And we have not changed our habits. So even thinking about that this morning, I was like, ooh, where have I adjusted to a lifestyle that I'm enjoying, and yet I could still do better at maybe having more financial security. I could still do better at maybe even allowing more pleasure to come into my life, right? So I'm looking at that podcast this morning. I was like, wow, that's perfect, because as we're looking at this new moon, I want to invite you to look at that. Look at the pleasures that you have. Look at that relationship to creativity, your finances, and the relationships that you are in. What is ready to end? What is ready to end in those relationships? What relationships are ready to end? What relationship you have with all of these things are ready to end? This, my friend, would be what our new moon intention might want to be around. So I invite you to explore that, set a new intention for this time. We do have I run a new moon intention setting circle every single month inside of the new Cosmic Alchemy program. That is already included in that, my friend. So if you are interested in New Moon Intention Setting Circle, it is held virtually on Zoom. So if you're not too bored of Zoom yet, love to have you. Links are down below for all of that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our next day. We move into Leo. So Wednesday, early morning, you saw it was about 8 o'clock down through Thursday and even into Friday, we will see the moon moving through Leo. Now, when the moon moves through Leo, things start to change a bit. The moon in Leo is a fire sign, right? So it's more action oriented. It's more getting out there. It's more doing things, where Cancer, remember, is more at home. Leo's like, let me get out there. Let me be seen. I want to talk to people. I want to share things with people. I want to get out. So it's wanting to go physically and do things. It's wanting to be in your face. It's wanting to be seen. So that energy is going to shift, where you're going to want to, you're going to want your people to hear you, whether that's your family, whether that's your friends, whether that's your dog. You're going to want people to hear you. You're going to want to be seen. So notice that people are going to want to be seen, all those other people out there, and you're going to want to be seen. So this can cause, right, a little frustration, because people are wanting to be seen, and if you're not seeing them, they will make themselves heard. Oftentimes I find that during this time, if I haven't responded to somebody in like a quick manner, with whatever quick means for people, right, in a quick manner, they'll text me again, they'll text me again, they'll text me again. And it's like, whoa, like, okay, you want to make sure I heard you. Got it, right? And so I'll need to respond and just like, yeah, I'll get back to you, right? Or I'm in a meeting, talk to you later, right? Like, I can find that people are wanting to be heard. Now, if I wasn't aware of that, I might get a little frustrated and be like, what the heck, right? I'm busy. So just be mindful of that. This is also a really good time to step out and to be visible. So my friends that are business owners, this is a time to put an offer out. This is the time to share your thing, to share the beautiful thing that you have to offer the world, to share your gifts, to share your talents, to be seen. Put it out there. Okay, and then we move into Friday, in mid-Friday through Saturday and Sunday. The moon will move into Virgo, as well as Mars, and I'll talk about that in a second. Moon energy in Virgo is more about getting to work. So we have this energy of like being home, kind of taking care of ourselves, nurturing ourselves, doing that self-care, so that we have the energy during Leo to go out, to do the things, and then come back and get to work. Virgo is all about work, doing the hard work. It's the workaholic. It's the workhorse of all the zodiac signs. So it wants to get things done. It's checking things off its list, making the list probably too, and checking it off is like self-care to Virgo. So during that time, you may find like you're wanting to do more work, you're wanting to get into work, more focus on health and your day-to-day routine. So that is where our moon will be over this week. Let's talk a little bit about this Mars moving into Virgo. And we also have Mars, which will be conjunct Mercury. You'll see that happen right here on the 18th. We'll see. Let's move that, because I was on the moon and not on Mars. There we go. I was like, why isn't it showing? It's because it wasn't connected, Danny. There you go. So you'll see here, we have Mercury and Mars. Now we still had, we had that from our last Sidereal Astrology forecast. You would have seen our Mercury and Mars conjunction. I talked about that, and it is still going to be there until the 23rd. So we do still have a little bit more of that energy, but remember, this is that mental, acute, focused type of energy. There's a little bit more aggression to our thinking, more impulsive. It's kind of quick in responding. Pair that with that Leo energy, and we could see a little bit of frustration and arguments potentially coming to you. But remember, don't back down from the battles. This isn't the time to back down from the battles. This is the time to defend your position. However, what are you going to stake your claim on? What are you going to put your flag on the hill for? Like, if it's that, then by all means, stand up. If it's not, Why are you going to waste your energy? Why are you going to waste your time? All right, so let's talk about Mars moving in to Virgo. So Mars moves into Virgo. It's this last couple of days here in Leo before it moves to Virgo. When it moves to Virgo, things shift because Mars is our motivation, it's our drive, it's our will, it's what really pushes us, right? And when Mars moves into Virgo, it's like, let's get down to business. Let's get things moving. Let's get things in place. It's all about the details with Mars. And Mars, let me tell you, does not like details. Generally speaking, Mars just likes to go and do, doesn't care too much about the details. Like, I just need to go do my thing. But in Virgo, it's like, let's stop and look at these details. So much so that it can get lost where it loses the bigger picture, where it's so focused on the details and it can't shake the little tiny details that it's like it's like really like, can you wake up? Can you look up and look around for a second? Because there's a whole other world over here. Virgo can get really focused in on the details and not care too much about anything else. So notice that that energy can come into play here over the next few weeks, about 6 weeks. There's more of a workaholic type mode. Perfectionism comes into play. Virgo is the perfectionist, wanting to dot every I and cross every T. It's like as if there's like, they want the gold star status. It's like, can you give me a gold star for my job well done, right? It's more performance focused, where Leo was like, let's have fun, let's have a good time. Now it's like, let's get to work. Like, we've been having some fun. And I want you to think about this, my friend. What are we seeing in our world right now? Well, outside of some of the craziness, but we're moving. A lot of the kids are going back to school. Summer is ending. And even though the seasonal wise, it's not quite ending, but we are moving into that, like, okay, it's time to get our stuff back in order. It's time to get back on track, right? And we feel that because we've only got 3 more months or 3.5 more months till the end of the year. And so there's a bit of a feeling, right, of like, let's get back on track. It's time to get back to work. Like, we've had our fun. Now let's get back to work. Here, I live in a college town. And so this weekend, man, was the streets and the freeways filled with the incoming freshmen, the parents dropping off their incoming freshmen. And it's like, there's a massive amount of new people in this city, young kids, right, coming back to school. And so there's like, I can feel it in the air. There's just like, let's get back to work. Let's get things going. So just notice that is coming over for the next 6 weeks. We're going to feel more focused on our day-to-day routine, more focused on the details, more focus on our work ethic, and having a really high standard in what it is that we're putting out, which can also cause some nervousness and some anxiety. If you're starting to feel the nervousness or anxiety of like, oh, I got to catch up and I got to get this done, it's got to be perfect, my friend, let it go. Let it go. There is no need to stress. I'm going to tell you, there's no need to stress about the fine little details of every little thing. I mean, I literally sent out an email to my my list, and it had the wrong time and it had the wrong information in it. And like, could I get, somebody texted me, was like, hey, I was like, yep, caught that, sent another one, right? I don't need to, sweat the small stuff, really, seriously. I really don't. I have way more other things that are way more important than a little thing. Now, do I need to make sure that people have the correct time and the correct information? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm not going to worry about it so much so that I'm not going to send that email, that I'm not going to post that thing, that I'm not going to do the thing that I know I need to do. All right, my friend, that is our Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of August 14th through the 20th. We have a really beautiful new moon of endings coming ahead. And I didn't talk about Lionsgate Portal, but Lionsgate Portal is officially opened on the 13th and will peak on the 20th. So the beginning, no, the 20th is the end of this week. So on Sunday is our Lionsgate Portal. It's at its peak, at its most like massive energy, let's just say. And so that's a perfect time again. So we had this last Sunday and now this Sunday, perfect opportunities to really call in what it is that you desire. And I did talk a little bit about Lionsgate last week, but this is a really good time to make sure you are clear, crystal clear on what it is you're wanting to call in, and making sure that your thoughts and your energy around it are in alignment, so that we're not asking for the $1 million, but yet we're scared of the influx of time that might mean for us, right? I might ask for the $1 million, but then that means I have to work harder in my business. And maybe I don't want to work harder in my business, right? Or maybe I'm wanting to call in a new relationship, but I still have a fear, right, of putting myself out there. And so if I have that, and that is not in alignment, that's going to mess things up for me. I'm not going to be able to pull it in as easily, right, as this can allow for. So something for you to keep in mind. All right, I want to tell you, my friend, really quick, I promise, all about cosmic alchemy. Yay. I want like a little bell. I wish I had like a little bell that I could like ring right now and say, yay. Cosmic Alchemy is my brand new program. It is a 12-month program to help you align with your authentic self. And it really is about understanding your cosmic blueprint. Your cosmic blueprint. Why do I keep getting that wrong? Your cosmic blueprint, your natural energy, your rhythm. That's what Cosmic Alchemy is all about. And we have spent the past year, so I did like a beta version of this last year, and the ladies inside have shifted so much over this past year. And I hear them talking and speaking about things so differently than they did last year. And it's just such a beautiful thing to see, because inside Cosmic Alchemy, we are aligning our physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental bodies. We are working with all aspects of ourselves. We are connecting and healing those inner child wounds. We are activating and expanding your natural zodiacal energy. Every single month, we have an activation, an attunement, and a healing around your zodiacal energy. So if you've wanted to learn, like dive deeper into astrology, learn astrology, or dive deeper into astrology, or both, my friend, this is what we're doing. As a matter of fact, heads up, I will be launching a brand new Align with Your Stars astrology course that will have everything you need to know about astrology, the basics of astrology, as well as how to read your natal chart. And when you join Cosmic Alchemy, you get that for free. So FYI, if you want to join, that's what it's all about. We're going to learn to reclaim pieces of our soul. We're going to connect with some past lives, ancestral lineages. We're going to do it all, my friend. This is, if you're wanting a community, a place to have guidance, to have support, to increase your self-awareness, strengthen your intuition, to love yourself more so that you can make decisions. My friend, I find so many people struggle with making decisions because they don't trust themselves, because they don't know who they are. It all starts with knowing who we are and then honoring that. It was one thing I learned is I had to know who I was. I didn't even know who I was and what I even liked. And when I started to understand who I was and then begin to honor that, my whole life shifted. My whole life shifted. Everything shifted in my world because I started to stand up for who I was and share who I was, be who I am unapologetically, and not worry. Now, are there times where I still hesitate to do certain things? Yes. But I've noticed that I can move through that quicker and faster. I've noticed that for me, when something doesn't quite feel right, it's usually because I am not allowing myself to be my most authentic self. It's because there's something there that I have not quite looked at. So inside the zodiacal, every month we meet weekly actually. So every week we meet to talk about the zodiacal energy, what the season that we're in, and that energy that we have already within us, because we all have the 12 zodiac signs within us. And so we really look at those and connect into how that energy is expressed for us so that we can appreciate and respect, because nothing is wrong with you, my friend. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing. There's aspects of you that you are just not connected with. And that is what we are going to awaken inside Cosmic Alchemy. I am so very excited to welcome you in. We do have a new moon intention setting class workshop, the circle, every single month. We have a weekly class that we do around the zodiacal season where we do our activation, our attunement, and our healing. We have a Cosmic Insights group session where we all get together. There is a full clearing that we do during that. You'll have an opportunity to get coaching from me during that time, which is my favorite thing. This is actually something I'm adding new into Cosmic Alchemy this year. And we're also adding quarterly alchemy workshops. So this first one coming up is going to be on the 12 universal laws. I have been wanting to teach about the 12 universal laws for years. I didn't know where to teach them, and now I finally have a place to teach them. So that'll be our quarterly workshop coming up in October. And then we have some bonuses. If you join, you will get the Align Your Stars astrology course. You'll get our Uncover Your Intuitive Gifts masterclass. We're going to have a fall equinox sacred healing that you'll get, as well as shadow work tarot readings with my love. He is absolutely an amazing tarot reader. He focuses on shadow work. So you'll get those absolutely included for free, my friend, when you join Cosmic Alchemy. I would love to invite you in. Enrollment is only open till next Monday, till the 21st, and then doors will be closed. So if you are interested, if anything I said interests you, there is a link down below. You can go to thepeaceteacher.com/cosmic alchemy to learn all about it, to sign up. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to send me an email, send me a message over on Instagram. I'd love to chat with you to see if this is a good fit for you. All right, my friend, that wraps us up for this week. Thank you for staying with me. As I mentioned, Cosmic Alchemy, because it is something that I had been birthing. I told you I launched it, didn't really launch it. I just kind of opened it to some of my clients and some people last year. And I didn't have the full, confidence in myself last year to launch it. And now, my friend, I'll tell you hands down, it's probably one of the best programs you will see out there. The idea of holistic here is what we really cover. All aspects of self. We're not just focusing on inner child. We are not just focusing on chakras. We are not just focusing on ego. We are not just focusing on past lives. We are doing it all, my friend. We are aligning our money, our self, our relationships, our communities, our work, our career, how we get paid, how we work with different people, our connection to divine. It's a really beautiful program, and I can't wait for you to come join us. All right, my friend, that wraps us up. Have a great rest of your day. And remember, close your eyes and take a deep breath with me. And find peace.